Toho album that keeps getting delisted from YouTube. I hope this video doesn't get delisted as well. It truly is the Christmas season. People are freaking blasting loud music all over the village, and I can't get any peace and quiet, even if I wanted to. So, I can't be productive with all this noise around, so guess I'm just playing some more. Oh shit, I just remembered I'm recording. Uh, Sorry, I just remembered something I had to do. I should be doing, rather. Alright, I'm gonna go listen to the rest of this damned album. Why not?
I might mention he is an excellent poet. So romantic. Anyways, off you go. Have fun. You walk down the hallway. When suddenly, you bump into a large man. I am large. He flashes a warm smile and takes a step back to greet you. Oh, sorry about that. Hope it didn't scare you. But you only give me a good talking to if that happens. Anyways, you must be manly. I am. Also, my name is Manly. Welcome to town. Despite the circumstances. Speaking of which, your car is in the hands of our newest mechanic, Morris. Who's Morris? Morris? He might seem quiet at first, but he's a real sweet boy. As I might mention, he's an excellent poet. So romantic.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite song in 10 Desires.
I've said the same exact same thing.
Also, my controller's acting wonky.
Oh yes, of course we both love Morris. Such a crunkster. Even he acts like he isn't. Anyways, I don't want to bore you. Have fun with Morris. You would goodbye to the Jolly West. Walk deeper into the auto repair shop. Right, Gosley? Oh yeah, what a workout.
Also, our internet's acting kinda wonky, which
What? Oh my gosh.
I hate to admit it, but the internet is is way too useful and important of a resource
It's full of
nowadays for you to remain productive.
I mean, well,
Information technology wins games.
well, I got bad news for you. Your engine's fried. Even applying coolant to your car. Figures. Looks like you're stuck in onboard now for 12 days, but waiting for your parts to arrive. Oh no, what wish I knew. What time of you I'm excited. You realize what time of me. That's my purpose here. That sounds. I mean. If you see me, I got a problem to answer. I'll do anything stupid or cute while I'm working, okay? No, I won't. If Morris goes back to work in your car, someone's holding the door and asks. It says, early Dove gets more love. That's what I was always told. Every day without being bold. But that one day I'll be left in the cold. Won't someone come and find out? Not me. Really good like Morris and Joe's Department daytime software. Not photocopy this script. Do not post on public without formal distribution license. Oops. Hey, that's mine. Don't read that. It's real tempting. Yes, this your poem's terrible. Oh, you shouldn't have read it then. Anyways, leave me alone.
Okay, what is up with this?
Nice people.
Oh, also,
Oh no, you didn't get your smooch. Better luck next time. Thanks for playing daytime. Thanks to daytime.
no
Alright,
fuck.
everyone lives. I'm satisfied. With the right mind plays a dating app picks the mean choice, me. You ruined everything. Get in here. Wait, what? Wake up! Is your poem? It's beautiful. Beep boop. You. I like my poem. Nobody has ever said. I mean, Your car will be available in a couple days. Please, enjoy the town. You think Morris is outside to the cold air?
Alright, so it looks like since Dark Army Resurrection now
Next to the
uses
shop is the town's park.
the armor
Increase
revamp
evolution to
thing,
leaves
that
for the
means
winter.
it's suffering from the same
The
problem that
swamp upon to migrate to warmer climates for the season.
I had to fix.
Even so, the early winter atmosphere of this park is so
Fun.
fetching. Need a little romantic.
Let's see if changing the order of the mods
Sit at the
can
bench and
fix
stare out
it.
over the beautiful landscape. When suddenly... Hi! You following me? Morris sits down next to you at the bench. Manly. Would you like to join me at the cafe for lunch? No. I mean... like on a date or something, It's cold and winter is here. And even snow soon. We'll have to, bundle up together and you should eat something to keep your strength up. I'm just trying to be a good person. Are you blushing? No. I'm just cold. Stop teasing me. Now come on, I know a quick route. You help Morris to the cafe. The cafe serves them the finest coffee in town, and the freshest pies, sandwiches, and salads. Both you and Morris sit by a small corner, both looking out the window at the pretty park. The waiter saunters out to ask you what you like to order. Coffee with cake, strawberry salad. They mentioned the strawberry salad specifically out in the same game. The strawberry salad. The waiter nods, turns to Morris.
Let me remerge everything too while I'm
Maybe
at
a
it.
ham sandwich. The waiter smiles and walks into the kitchen, leaving both you and Morris alone at the table. You and Morris talk amongst yourselves. Morris mentioned he likes motorcycles, and that was why he sought to get the job at Joan and Wes's auto shop. Maybe one day I could finally buy one. Oh, you like motorcycles on that one? And ride myself out of this boring town. That's gonna happen anytime too with current inflation. Morris's mood changes when he reminds himself of the job. It's good to make money, right? Yeah. I just wish Joan and Wes were nicer people. Wait, what? They seem to like you. What? One day they just yelled at me about my job. And they make fun of me for working on poetry. Just disappointment to them. They said nice things to me about you. That's very surprising. Wish they'd say it to me directly, though. Oh well. I didn't mean to bog you down my own troubles, Manly. But thank you for listening. Thank you for reading my poetry, by the way. I'm still a little embarrassed by my writing, but you should be. If you would like to, I can show you more. Not because I like you like that. But you may have a good eye for writing. Ha 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 ha. You don't have excitement to read more of Morris's poetry. Yes. Moments later, the waiter comes back with your food. Both you dig into the food as the sun sets over the beautiful town. Delicious bits. Cold. You wake to the late morning sun at the town's bed and breakfast. The days are getting colder in the town.
Let me check the
You shiver a bit before
inputs.
traveling to the auto shop and check your vehicle. You reach the front counter where Joan is waiting for you, smiling. Hello? Maybe Morris is like the good one. It's the shop owners that are like the real evil stab around and twist. No, I feel like that's too maybe that's too radical. You reach the front counter where Joan is waiting for you, smiling. Wes, stick to my plan. It's gonna work, it's gonna... Wait, they're gonna read what we said. You want to get Griffin? Hey, what? What a pumpkin? I'll be at a great night at our famous B&B. What are you speaking to Wes about? I say, really? Oh no, you overheard us. Well, might as well tell you the truth. We're giving Morris a surprise gift for being such a great employee. Shh, don't ruin the surprise. Just keep being a cool person to him. Speaking of which, Morris been talking so much about you lately. Perhaps it's because he likes you. Maybe you like him too. We'll see. Now, man, I think it's best for all of us if you always give people a chance. Especially a beautiful poet like Morris. Anyways, go down the hallway, check out your car. Boys, I'm looking forward to seeing you. You go down the hallway only to once again up straight to west. Oh there, partner. What's the rush? Morris isn't going anywhere. Oh. Let you know, I was at breakfast at the B&B. Delicious, I bet. Sometimes I buy a bed there just so I can eat Granny Dan eggs. Oh. Anyways, hope Morris hasn't been too good of you. Oh. That's a little too soon, what? Don't you love his poetry? Yes, of course I do. I really like it. Wait. I love his poetry too. Me and Joe sometimes get so sad that not enough people hear Morris's amazing poetry. If only there was a way to send it to everyone's computers all at once. Or whatever that technology exists. Bless oh, forgive me for boring you. Forgive in now, talking like me from Ramble Dog. Go down the hall and take a car. Morris is waiting for you. Walk further in towards the garage. These things feel right somewhere. You're after the garage and Morris isn't anywhere. If you got a desk near your car, it's just print out a notepad. Why is there a poem for Morris? Not the poem to read. Is he like hijack like all printers in the world? Now, hijack all printers despite me not connected to the internet. I wish I could tell them by Morris. But if they don't like me, I dare not even
They promise compatibility with the Linkle mod.
Wait, anytime software suggests at least 2 kilobytes of RAM to run, you're low. This goes to your application, so no more than 956 kilobytes, like 1 kilobyte. I should tell them my Morris. The next 200 days, do not work on this for no.
The sticks are still acting weird. Only in certain directions though, it seems. Alright, cool. I suppose I can live with this. I like this clothing mod anyway, I guess. I just remembered I gotta open up Path to Nowhere as well. What if I close some stuff, or maybe... I don't know what's causing this. It was working fine last time, so why is this happening now? It seems to have fixed itself. Okay. Anyway, I want a better horse, so I think I'm going to I'm doing the Rito quest first. Oh, I think I'm being called. Taas ba ka, mami? The internet is still very terrible. I can't log into Path to Nowhere. Fuck me.
You're terrible. I should quit. But you said you liked my last poem. You say something so extreme now. I guess you're just leading me on, huh? Well, I guess you're right. I'll quit poetry. But don't talk to me ever again. Don't to me read my poems ever again. Oh no, you get your smooch. Better luck next time. I win. Leading people on. What a terrible day you made. In that case, nobody's gonna miss you. Get in here. It's like I meant like a scorpion voice. Get in here! Woke up. This probably needs some work. He spent some time speaking of Morse on Bruce. Actually, this would actually be start to think, to improve his prose on his poem. Encourage him along the way. Morse takes on your every word as to give you craft the perfect solution. Oh man, you're a lifesaver.
Okay, the stick is acting up again.
I so lucky my life makes me a stronger poet. I have so many feelings in my head. You're the first person that ever encouraged me to grow. I have so much to think about. Let's meet up again later today after work. We can farewell from back outside. I'm gonna save and then I'm gonna go back to being a choice. I'm curious if you can call it like relighting on the beautiful thing. What a beautiful poem. Good more so the poem touches your heart. And you think he's incredible as a person. Oh, thank you. I don't know what to say. Wish I'd met you earlier. Someone who could encourage me to do more. There's so many feels in my head. Okay, no, it's the same thing. Maybe you farewell, travel back outside. Off to the chilly but beautiful park. You walk peacefully along the swan pond in the park, daydreaming your town of Morris. Town is a beautiful town, but you understand Morris' predicament. The shop, park, camping, and swan pond were sights to see. For Morris lived here his entire life. Eventually everyone thirsts for adventure. You thought about your own travels, and how your road trip had granted you many adventures. Perhaps, as you are lost in thought, you see Morris approaching you. He flashes his dice. Melissa, get out! Brr, it's getting cold in here. Tell me I might even snow soon. Come on, man, let's warm up some coffee at the cafe. A small block of Morris with a breezy park positioning lights in the cafe. A gust of warmth talks to you as you walk into the cafe. Morris pulls a seat for you at the same corner. Nice, I like this restaurant. It's simple, you know what I mean? With a sauce, see, I have to guess you like that. No, I'm about the combine the taco there. Weird nonsense. Do you see this? Do you see what is happening? I'm gonna have a ham sandwich. With a smiles and you get to leave both you and the balls along that table.
Hey, I believe there's a car option here.
I mean, in a completely platonic way. It's just why you're on this road trip. I don't know. I'm looking for adventure, not love. Adventure. Wow. So Joe just didn't like that steps out and just, you know. Just does it. Yeah, just do it. That's what freedom feels like, huh? Moments later, the waiter comes back with your food and a giant bald eagle. The eagle soars through the sky, giving freedom to everyone. Both talk more as you dig in. Oh guys, see Mickey Mouse. You see it, right? Mickey, that looks kind of like Mickey Mouse that vaguely. Not just like, I don't just have Mickey in the brain, right? I'm not the only one. You not see something? The sun shines outward as you walk outside from the bed and breakfast. You look great and your eyes walk towards the shop.
Oh yeah, I want it in your car, update.
I mean, it's a long apartment. I know it's like super long. Walk inside and check out your car.
As long as you're keenly aware of the environment,
There's our little town
it's a
warming up.
powerful
It's
weapon.
pretty cold out here. Is it warm out?
Not there. Fuck.
We got an update that your parts will be in tomorrow.
Run!
Your car will be up and running no time after that. Such great news. Speaking of news, I was just reading about this thing called Information Superhighway. It's something you can dial into and share fake of our people for your own computer device. I wonder what type of things like you could share to the world. Anyways, run down and check on your car more before you spend one day in our town. First, what's your car? Oh, stop again. Oh, manly. Sorry, don't get me a spray. Oh, don't give me the good news. Are you excited to get back and drive tomorrow? Not till I get my smooch. Well, manly, that's very flattering. But unfortunately, I'm taking it. Oh, you mean Morris? Yes. Oh, in due time, my friend. Speaking of which, let me ask you something. We've been discussing this surprise gift for Morris. We realized surely no surprise gift would be good enough for Morris. Except love from a great person like you. And also being able to spread his artwork to the entire world. You ever heard of this thing called the Information Superhighway? Don't mention this. Oh, so she did. Oh, both of us were in the same newspaper bubble. I'm a bit too old to understand all this technology stuff. But I wonder if maybe someone like you can figure it out for us. Oh, off you go then. You see down the hallway towards the car. More spots in waves. Smile. Morris walks over. Well, Manly, I'm sure Dan and Nelly told you about your parts. You'll finally be able to get out of this boring town, huh? I'll miss you. Bye. Aw, I'll miss you too. Tell you what, let's meet up at the cafe one last time after work. That'll be my treat. Then maybe we could, take a stroll.
I gotta
to the
poop.
park evening. This could be one of the last warm days. We got an agreement and made a farewell to the shift ends. You sit in your very corner and stare out the window. Stay a minute. There you wave to Morris as he comes inside. Hello, Manly. Hope you haven't gotten tired of the food here yet. The waiter there's out to ask you if you like to order. Hell. I like to order some hell.
Let me close some stuff. See if that'll help.
So kind of amount. Digital so seasonal flavor. So coffee and cake and delicious strawberry salad. Strawberry salad. The winter smells at entity now found. The food here was delicious. Morris takes a sip of his coffee. Both kept to explore the warm evening. Romantic moonlight shines upon you and Morris. Morris shyly locks his eyes on you. Manly, tell me. Manly, if you could do anything, what would it be? Not be here. Or do art, sports. A few of you.
I gotta poop. I do believe the battery isn't the problem, though. I slammed my peanut on the car door. And it's technical difficulties again. And it's technically not even Dark Army Resurrection's fault. Not to mention all the stupid ass breaks I've been doing.
Happy of you. Sports. Sports, huh? That makes sense. You seem quite the adventurer. I like that about you. It's inspiring. I do art. Art? Oh my gosh, you're an artist. I should have known since you had such interest in my poetry. I'd never met someone like you before. I view of you. What am I? Morris stumbles a bit before readjusting himself to clear his throat. I'll get to that maybe later. Morris stares off into the moonlight. You follow his gaze. I grew up in this small town. I'm in it. It's pretty. But I have a yearning to go on an adventure. I want to do so much more in my life than get yelled at by a married couple in an auto shop. I like to drive from town to town around the world and show people my own experiences, my poetry. And I like to share that adventure with you. Silly thoughts in my head. I'm sorry, Manly. Maybe I'll find the words to say tomorrow. Take care, Manly. You hug Morris goodbye. As friends. Go away. What the heck are you doing, Manly? Thank you, I like that. Oh, one more thing. Morris hands you a piece of paper. I was, working on a new poem about, love and stuff. But it's super rough draft, so please don't judge harshly. But I hope you will like it. You smile and nod and lock eyes with Morris for one last moment before parting ways. Now poem to read. Oh no! The poem dimension! This is why it's safer to be a jock. Although, how's sports gonna come and corrupt the real world, right? Sports can't hurt you, except when they can.
On the contrary, sports hurt people all the time. Manly.
Morris done nothing, daytime somewhere, and unposted. Like our memory exceeded. I have a partial. Hold up. Yeah, I have a partial save of Melissa still in the system. Log into blank to see. Yeah, it's a bit obvious if you watch TV. Jerry. No, it isn't. Not like there's an easy way to search for it. You have another great morning at the bed and breakfast. Return the keys back to Granny Ann and bid her farewell. Off you walk towards the auto shop. Nice. Nice. Morning, Pumpkin. We have good news. Your car's fixed. You're ready to go. Isn't that grand? We hope you enjoyed our beautiful town. But before you go, let me tell you one last thing about Morris. Oh, okay. It hurts so bad. I mean, don't worry about me, Manly. Talk to Wes. Just gotta freshen up in the restroom. Yeah, you know, some
right.
HQ programming
This
work
is
for
good enough.
freshening up.
Oh, great. Bam.
Fix up that code. Oh, didn't bump into me that time. I built an instinct. Whoa. You ready to get back on the road? Cut to Morris and he'll set you up. Have a safe trip.
It appears there's a red Hinox.
No, wait.
Man, listen to me. I'm sure you like Morris a lot. Well, usually how this ends is that once Morris fixes your car, you propose to drive him to the sunset of lovers. I think lots of questions why you want to do that to someone you only know for 3 days, but let me tell you, Morris is. Well, what I mean is, you know how slow a car is? You'd hardly be able to leave it safe by the end of the week. But thanks to the technological advancements, you have a way that both you can travel fast. Connect to the internet. You can premiumize this quick 28K modem. Morris will be able to finally leave our small boring town at a breakneck speed. Why don't you consider that? Just set him off. He needs to see the world. Do it. Is Morris like... What's the one like, it's like Twilight Zone, like the kid's like a psychic, and it's like, oh, you can't mess with the kid, he's like God. He waltzes to the garage and Morris waves and walks up to you. Manly, I have some great news. Am I getting away from you?
I'll try beating the
parts
shit
came
out
this
of that
morning,
guy.
I was able to quickly put everything together for your car. It's as good as new. You're off to the races. It's been an amazing couple of days speaking of you. And I just wanted to say that you've been a great company these few days, and oh, what's the use? I can't hide it anymore. Manly, I have feelings for you. Everyone knows. You made me grow and become more confident in my poetry. And now instead of being embarrassed to show people my poetry, I want to show the world in one day. But not just that. I want to spend more time with you. We can spend more time together. At great distance and lengths.
Fuck.
He expressed the same thing to Morris. He had always had a crush on him since he read his first poem. You like me too? No. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to say. But it's your last day here, isn't it? Yep. What will we be able to do now that we've told each other our feelings? So we'll do the internet one later. You'll go on a road trip. What? Really, you would like me to join you to travel? Oh man, I would love to.
I don't really think
You
that
know,
was
Morris
worth
looked
it.
deep into his eyes. Oh man, I never thought this could happen. Thank you, Manly, for showing me new things. Here's your smooch.
Also, I'm having a hard
So
time
began your new relationship with Morris.
swinging and spin attacking in my preferred direction again.
It's a game. It's a game now. That was fine. No, not like this. And we were this close. You gotta do it right. Get in there. We talked about this. Nailed down the legs. We can't risk Manly running away. Wait, what? But do it now, Wesley. Ah! I can't believe I did that. Looks like I woke our little player up. I told you! I called it! I called it! What? It was my man, the sack of powers coming out. Morning, Pumpkin. Did you have a good nap? Man, look, we're not bad people, it's just that your new boyfriend is destroying our town. Yeah. Ah, my legs. What's going on here? Morris is a monster. He's badly programmed. Each time a new game is played, Morris's memory gets wiped of the past experiences. However, that wipe doesn't actually delete the damn memory properly. The partial memory just slides back into him, corrupting and turning into something else. This typically wouldn't be a problem. You know, because most people just play our game once or twice when they get our stupid smooch. But since we know we're being played on a shared library computer, or if you playthroughs to be exact, they have to leave memory starting to corrupt him. And he's spreading, if you haven't noticed. None of your 4 kilobytes of RAM could contain all this. And you've probably seen it, haven't you? The terrible power of Morris. He's not just unwillingly eating up this town. He's spreading to your world, too. Your boring, terrible world. Without our scrumptious paninis. Indeed. Hey, player 433. You still with us? Oh my gosh, that head artery is something. Yes! Damn it, Wesley. But Morris is a good boy. Oh my god, they said Morris is a good boy. Good boy. Your good boy literally just ate the waiter at the cafe. How am I going to get my strawberry
I
salad
don't
now?
care about Zelda's old horse.
I'm sorry, Manly. But you really should have done what we told you. You should have opened the internet and sent him away from this computer. The town's breaking at the seams now. It's our last chance. You sent out on the internet, wouldn't he affect other computers? Look, Manly, we either came in here and not just destroy this town, but possibly destroy your town. Or save our own hides. We don't have a choice. You got friends in your area, right? Don't you care for them? Isn't this just the plot of Wreck-It Ralph in some ways?
You're right.
Partially. They're playing a dating game. Okay, how about family? When can you transfer them to a diskette? Can't? Software locks down and takes a diskette transfer. So we need copy protection. No such thing with the internet, though. You try talking to him? Like we said before, he loses his memory every time someone resets a dating scenario. And now we're out of time. You are our last date. Sorry, Manly. The time for peaceful intervention is over. Enough questions. You gotta do exactly what we tell you. First, go back to Morris. Secondly, convince him to use the internet to leave. Thirdly, take our diskette out and... Oh, Joan? What, Wesley? The corruption. It's appearing here again. Wait, already? This is spreading faster. He's close to... Joan! Wes, are you there? What? Did I give him the day off? I've been looking for Manly everywhere. Is the car still here? Okay, stay calm. I have a plan. First, we put a blanket over Manly. We then tell Morris Manly went to the park. If he leaves, we can strategize it. Awkward. Morris, my legs. Hey, you two, I was wondering if... Manly! Oh my god, what has happened in here? What'd you do to Manly?
You attack that slow, you'll never beat him. Especially a black one.
Oh, Joan?
Let me show you a better, more
Morris,
effective
need to leave
strategy.
right now. You saw nothing here. You can't do this to people. Tell the shop.
Ow! Wow, that's not that much
Morris,
damage.
I'm warning you.
You're weak.
Do as I say, I'm your boss. No! I won't let you hurt Manly any further.
Nah.
We're doomed. We're all doomed. That's it. Let's bash Morris' head in before he turns again. What? Don't know. He's too powerful. Get away from me. Why are you doing this? Don't stop. You're gonna make him. You stand still, you little. Joe, no.
Give me the
Where's my
monster
plug in? Somebody
group.
gonna kill the... Whoa! What? That's... Cubes. Joan. What did I do? Joan. Become my Joan. Please, I didn't. I'm gonna kill you, Morris. Wes, please, no. You did it. Huh?
Ah!
It wasn't Morris's fault. It was yours. You did this, Manly. Took away everything. Not my problem. Manly, please wake up. Please. Manly! Oh, thank goodness. You lost a lot of blood. I tried to patch you up. I was so worried that they, you know... Hey, would you look at that? It's finally snowing. I know it's not snow. I'm sorry. I found JW's plan about me when I broke into their office to get the first aid kit for you. And it It's a simulation, isn't it? Like some kind of dating thing. It's been hundreds of people who dated me and loved me and encouraged me to do my poetry. Every single time a new person comes in, my brain just resets. I don't remember any of them. Not just that. I'm sick.
That tower's way too
Inside me, it's
dangerous.
destroying this world.
And you.
And it has the capacity to
Stay
destroy
away
yours
from
as
me.
well. That's why JW always hated me, didn't they? That's why everyone is afraid of me. I thought maybe because I was weak. I wasn't tough enough. That's why I act this way, but... Oh gosh, I had no idea I'd be that. Hug Morris. Manly? Oh, Manly. Thank you. For some reason, even though I thought I hugged you before, now it felt more real. I didn't want to let go, but please, for your own safety, I don't know when I'll do it again. Going west of plan to send me out to the internet, huh? You'll get me and I would spread it out over computers. Maybe a couple, maybe 100. Maybe all of them. But it meant they could save the little town. They were willing to jeopardize everyone in your world. That's a good idea. It was monstrous. Maybe it's the revelation that my entire life was a lie, but... If 433 people came to me, liked me enough to encourage me to work on my poetry, and liked me enough to want to date me, and to come out of my shell, that's 433 more people out there in your world that show me love than anybody here. Your world is worth saving. You are worth saving. I'm going to muster all my energy to send you back out of this computing device. I'll contain the spread of the corruption here. It should be easy, right? I'm a mechanic. The computer's a machine. So, here goes nothing, right? I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, I mean, this is the objective. Smooch Morris. Oh my gosh, I hope when I turn to corrupted pixel monster, I still remember you. Goodbye, Manly. So they did go down the route I was actually talking about, huh? Funny about that. It worked. You're back in your world. Thank you very much for everything, Manly. Don't worry about me, as long as nobody plays this game again. This entire situation won't get any... Oops. Does that happen on your end? Wait, are you telling me that the corruption had already spread to your printer? You kept playing the simulation to smooch me? Come on, you're too cute. I think you're really cute too. But, this problem... Okay, stay calm. I have a plan. First, do you, have the number to an IT professional? Do you know Melissa by any chance? I think she probably knows more about computers. Okay, they did some twists there. Librarian Jerry, what's going on, Martha? I've been searching for this stupid Melissa diskette for days, Jerry. At this point, I think it's been stolen. You can always check my Melissa save file on the library system computer. Yeah, how? Just boot this computer like you would play the Morris game. Log in using the administrator username. Oh yeah, well, what's the username? It's a 7-letter word starting with a K. Let me write it down for you. I swear to God, Jerry. If this is something based from that dumb cartoon show... See the ever ending, go back to checkpoint. Let's go for the internet to showcase your poetry. The 7-letter word starting with a K. Interesting. Let's go for the internet to showcase your poetry. The what? What is that? Internet.
Oh
Maybe I'll
my.
show everyone my poetry far and wide? Oh, Manly. It's worth a shot. You again, Manly. I'll always treasure this moment. Beep boop bop beep boop.
Ah, frick, shit.
So computer mail is like real mail but an instant? It's not computer mail, Mom. It's email, and it's so much faster. You talk to so many people with it. Oh, what's this? Oh, somebody sent you new mail already. Don't open it. Poetry by Morris. Open it up.
Why did I choose to fight you?
Hello world, my name is Morris. It's the great person named Manly. I've come to realize my dream is share my poetry around the world. What is this? I think it's a mass email? It's been sent to everyone in town. Hope everyone has received this email and enjoys my favorite poem. Oh. You really don't get small. Let's get out of the monitor. Mom, that's not normal. You can't wait a ton to find the one. Run, Mom, run! The world dies of bad poetry.
What a cruel way to go.
Log in as admin in all caps to investigate the problem. 22 points plus triple word score. Game over. Game's over. I'm out of here. Yes, we're getting hints to, I think, a secret ending. Like putting a different name at the start. I'm just gonna go back to some of the choices in this ending. Stay away. Okay, it didn't really change anything. It just, we basically had less dialogue. I think that's a good idea. Look around you, Manly. The town's already gone. There's nothing left but you and me. I'm the one causing it, so...
Ow.
Skip ahead. Okay.
Did they make it so that the freaking stupid ass chaining, sneak strike chaining doesn't work anymore?
So that's pretty similar.
Also, sneak striking doesn't seem to do all that much damage.
Oh my god. Admin username detected. Welcome librarian Jerry. Please type elevate command. Okay, logs from Morris Software out of curiosity. Morris Software has caused intense memory leaks within the last 15 playthroughs. Please contact developer for support before running software again. Additional errors mentioned from software code. Don't be worried for me, I'm a mechanic, I can reverse this. One day we can finally go on that road trip. Thank you for the smooch. Please type elevate command. Melissa. Melissa software has been partially removed by an illegal pirated diskette transfer.
Another one.
Play last remaining save of Melissa game. Play last Melissa save. You know wrong. I love to be out here and check out the nature. It's so nifty. Especially because I'm into natural sciences. Like, look at the swans here. Can we actually ask Melissa, like, hey, how do we fix Morris? You know a swan egg has an incubation period of 45 days? Pretty cool, right? Haha, sorry, I heard. A nerd? What's going on here? Anna? What are you doing here? Uh-oh. Anna, put that down. Anna, get away from me! Okay, so it was just a teaser for the, next game, Anna. Yeah, so it's gonna be like a trilogy, so it's like... So it's Melissa, Morris, and Anna, and they're all like based off of viruses. So that's it for Morris. Obviously greatly expanded over Melissa. Melissa was like a really short game, right? It was like 10 minutes, maybe a little more than that. This one's like, I mean, I'm not sure if it's exactly an hour long. My clock time for playing is like an hour, but with editing it's probably gonna be less. But yeah, it's much more expanded. They did some other things, and so Melissa was more of your standard evil computer meta thing, although they had the little virus angle towards the end. Morris is a good person. They are just going turbo. What this going turbo is affecting the real world. If you don't know what that means, that's from Wreck-It Ralph. Going turbo is basically a character is like glitched out, and since they're glitched out, they corrupt the arcade machine. So like it affects everybody there. Like the whole world gets messed up, and then it gets the game shut down and like repaired or rebooted or whatever, or thrown out. So that's kind of like what's going on with Morris. He's got a corruption memory leak error. It's too much RAM or whatever. I think it might be related to like what the original virus did. I don't remember like my viruses. Like these were pretty old ones now. So we look at the canon. I'm assuming the ending. So the ending where Melissa, Melissa escapes in the original game, I guess you could say. It's been kind of spoiled by this one. And in this one, the canon ending is going to be not you uploading him to the internet, because if you upload Morris to the internet, the whole world is doomed, right? But even in the good ending, it looks like the world was doomed. Maybe it was just like very localized doomed? I don't know, because we got the little teaser for Anna or whatever, and they note from Morris's examining his file, it's like he says like, I'm a mechanic, I can try to fix this. So that's kind of like where we left off Morris's routes. I mean, that's where they're going to go down right wise.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it is actually better than Melissa. The character of Morris, I mean, they're nicer, but not as scary as Melissa, I guess. It's because they're more unique. They went with a twist I guessed at the very beginning, because I always do that. But because of that twist, they're less scary. So it's like a toss-up. Like you have more original scenario and writing, but then it's a little bit less horror. Unless you get the bad ending. Well, the worst ending. But yeah, looking forward to the last game of the series. I'm assuming the last game anyway. Anyway, so if you don't want to play Morris, I'll see you guys later and take it easy.
The third batch of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Storm Ocean was just released a couple of days ago, and I really think it was great. It was absolutely stunning, the animations were great, and the ending was just...
I pressed the wrong
This week's
video.
episode of our show has been sponsored by Grim Hollow, the dark fantasy campaign setting created by Ghostfire Gaming.
If you like classic monsters, gothic horror, and gritty adventures, then Grim Hollow might be the right setting for you. And now, available on the Ghostfire Gaming store, you can get all 3 of the Grim Hollow books. They have the campaign guide, which is a full guide to the world of Arathis and all of the horrors that are within.
There's also the player's guide that not only does it have a whole bunch of new subclasses, including 6 written by yours truly, there are also rules for transforming into a monster, so you can become a werewolf, or a lich, or a vampire as a player character.
If you need a ton of classic monsters to fill out your campaigns with, whether or not you're playing in the world of Grim Hollow, they also have their Monster Grimoire, which is packed with a ton of new monsters to bring to 5th edition.
The Grim Hollow setting is wonderful if you love that double dose of dark fantasy in your D&D, and with a complete suite of books to support the world of Arathis or to use in your own dark fantasy campaign settings, there is lots to look forward to in the setting. So check out all the books which are available now, both physical format and PDF at the Ghostfire Gaming store by following the links in the description below.
And now, on to this week's episode.
Greetings, my name is Monty Martin,
And I'm Callie McLaughlin,
and we are the Dungeon Dudes. Welcome to our channel where we cover everything D&D, including advice for players and guides for Dungeon Masters.
Alright.
We
The
have
carrots.
videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so please subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an episode.
Today, we're going to be talking about how to use illusion magic in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition.
Rather than diving into a specific build like the Illusionist Wizard or any of the other great classes that specialize in illusions, we want to look at illusion magic in more broad terms. So the tips and tricks that we're going to talk about for using illusion magic in this video are going to apply whether you are playing a bard, sorcerer, warlock, or wizard.
Or if you're playing any of the other subclasses or classes that might be able to nab a couple nice illusion spells as part of their subclass or other class features, such as an arcane trickster, these will be useful to you. We're going to be looking at the various categories that the illusion spells in D&D fall into, because it's a very diverse school of magic, lots of applications. So we're going to be looking at a broad range of strategies and tactics that you can use with illusion spells in D&D 5e, whether you want to use them to trick and deceive your foes, or even reshape reality itself. There's a lot to discuss, so let's get rolling.
So when we are looking at illusion magic, we've broken this down into 5 categories. We're going to talk about some of the most common spells. There are other outliers that might be discussed, but those 5 categories are classic illusions, disguises, control, defense, and utility.
This is quite a lot to encapsulate for a single school of magic, but it's useful to think about the different spells in these ways because it helps communicate the purpose that you might be having. So when we begin, when we're looking at the classic illusion spells, these are the illusions that, as befits the name, create an image in space of a figment or a projection or something that was not there before.
The
set bonus for the Hylian set is only supposed to happen at the 3rd upgrade.
Major image and programmable illusion.
The Hylian tunic having this set so early on is way too OP.
Almost anything that you imagine. Although the spells do have different levels of different restrictions and what you can create with them. Minor illusion, for example, only
I guess the mod developers weren't aware.
image of an immobile object, whereas you can use something like programmed illusion to create a very large image that responds when other creatures interact with that illusion, or that behaves in a specific way according to the way that you In the middle ground between these, you have a spell like Major Image, which I would consider to be the illusion spell that everyone thinks of when they're thinking of illusions, because this one kind of does it all. You can use it to conjure up an illusory wall, you can use it to conjure up an illusory creature. You can then move that creature around and even have it talk with people or create sounds and smells in addition to the visual elements at the same time. So if I were to say what is the most must-have spell in this category, it's probably Major Image. Although Minor Illusion is very powerful, oftentimes Minor Illusion is so powerful because it's often permitted to do more than what the spell description says it can do. So one of the things to be careful of here is make sure that you remember that there's a difference between Minor Illusion and Major Image.
We're going to be discussing that a little bit later in detail, but as we move on to the next category, this is probably my favorite category for illusions. I love using illusions as disguises. Being able to manipulate the way that you or your team members look in their physical appearance so that you can sneak into places, deceive people, and trick your way through every situation. It's a really fun tactic. Some of the standout spells in this category include Disguise Self and Seeming. Alter Self feels like it should be in this category, but it's actually transmutation, not illusion. And for the sake of it, I would also include Invisibility and Greater Invisibility, although you're not disguising yourself the way the Disguise Self spell does. Turning invisible is still a way of altering your physical presence so that you can get places easier. So it fits into the disguise category pretty well.
The other two spells that I would add into this category, which I don't often see used by players. I've used these spells as a dungeon master, but almost rarely do I see players use these because they have a long casting time, and that's Hallucinatory Terrain and Mirage Arcane. These spells kind of bridge the gap between a classic illusion and a disguise, because rather than disguising an individual or a person or a creature, these two spells are disguising the environment, and the range and area of these spells is massive. Mirage Arcane can disguise a 1 mile radius, and is so semi-real that it feels real to me, and it can create actual difficult terrain that impedes creatures. While often I don't see players considering these spells, I think they're really powerful for strategic scenarios when you have to defend a location from an oncoming enemy. And I use them all the time as a dungeon master to create.
Now, when people think of illusions, they most often think of changing the environment or changing their appearance, but there's a lot of good illusion spells out there that you can use to benefit you in combat. And this includes some illusion spells for control. Spells like Phantasmal Force, Hypnotic Pattern, Fear, and Mental Prison are excellent spells to bring into the battlefield that can really mess with your enemies, doing some great battlefield control, and in my opinion, some of these are some of my favorite spells to take in the game.
I think they're some of the most powerful spells in the game as far as battlefield control goes. And this is one of the interesting things about the illusions arsenal, that we'll talk about this issue a little bit more in detail, strategies for but these spells are so powerful, and they're very unambiguous in their power and application. And so oftentimes the illusionists will have a little bit of a dilemma. Do you use hypnotic powering or fear to frighten or incapacitate your enemies outright? Or do you try to get creative with Major Image? And that dichotomy, I think, between the raw power of these control illusion spells and what you can get away with Major Image is really going to depend on your dungeon master. It's also worth thinking about how you're going to protect yourself, because there are some very effective illusions that you can use in a defensive way. Now, technically, we could have also put invisibility and greater invisibility here, but I would really consider this to be the defensive categories of spells like Blur, Mirror Image, as well as Mislead.
I think that Mirror Image is one of my favorite defensive illusion spells. Blur and Mislead are pretty cool, but Mirror Image is almost a must-have if you're playing an illusionist character. Creating multiples of yourself and decreasing the chance of you getting hit on the battlefield. As squishy as most spellcasters are, Mirror Image is a great way to defend yourself.
In my video when I talked about running a mystery, the first thing that the players need to know is is the fact that this is a puzzle. They'll make the fact that this is a puzzle be a puzzle that they have to first solve. Just go ahead and let them know and make it obvious. Next, they need to have the tools to solve it, so they need to be provided in the dungeon, guaranteed to be in their possession. And finally, the puzzle needs to be logical, something that they need to be able to solve through the use of their own logic. Now, this can be informational, such as we know that the villain's computer password is the name of their deity. And we know by the bloody altar in the corner that the villain worships Cthulhu. There might be in-game magic or technology that's needed in order to solve it. You have to cast this one specific spell to open up the portal, but either that spell that must be provided or one.
Yeah, it's only Dark Army Resurrection specifically. I don't know what they did to the code, but spinning clockwise is impossible.
Go ahead and let them have some sort of hint that this specific spell is what you need to cast here, rather than just saying, well, you need to cast a spell on this, and letting them just...
Like, it doesn't matter how fast or slow I try to spin the joystick, it just won't happen.
Some sort of logic that this is the correct answer. One type of obstacle that I'm really leery about using is the type of obstacle that can only be solved by one specific character type, like the bone organ in the Goonies. It requires the map in order to get the song to play it. Easy enough, they were given the map at the beginning of the adventure. But it also requires that a character know how to read music and be able to play the organ. Now, that's great if the game master wants to give a moment in the sun for the organist character to shine and save the day. That is really cool. But that skill is so obscure and so specific that we can only pray that that player character isn't dead or incapacitated and can encounter the organ, or that the player didn't have to leave or miss the game, or leave early, or simply failed that one skill roll, the only one that can make that skill roll. Now the player characters are out of options, so there's no way for them to open this door and get past this puzzle. Next, let's talk about threats. Threats present urgent and immediate danger, requiring the player act in order to avoid something bad happening. These are usually the effects of the player's actions, such as they set up a trap,
Oh, really?
or some other action on their part. Or it might be that they reach the plot, and the game master decides to liven things up with a threat, such as hand on the garbage compactor, so now the garbage compactor is going to turn on. Popular examples of flooding. Player characters either need to escape this room or stop it from the draft. Simply doing nothing is not a viable option. Like with obstacles, threats need to be obvious. The characters need to know that they're in immediate danger. This is where the excitement comes from. They face dire consequences, but they still have the opportunity to avoid them. Threats are like obstacles with time limits. Like normal obstacles, the player characters, they can take their time, maybe explore another part of the dungeon, passages, get back to this obstacle later on. Threats are when they are not afforded luxury of time to solve it. Walls are crushing in, a giant boulder is coming after them, a wall of fire is going to hit them unless they can shut the door in time. The characters only have a short amount of time in order to react to save themselves. Now let's look at actual traps. Unlike obstacles and threats, traps are not obvious, and they're intentionally hidden and triggered by the character's actions. Now this can be mechanical or magical, or some advanced alien technology that might as well be magical. Now this could be stepping on a floor stone or hitting a tripwire or whatever else. Activating the trap should have an immediate effect. Now this might be immediate damage, like spikes or sting blades or falling into a capacitor, or it might create an obstacle or a threat the player characters now have to deal with, such as sounding an alarm and other bad guys are coming, or it might release the threat of the door sitting lamping shut. Now the water begins filling the room, and they have to escape this room before they drown, such as a character is moving up a hallway and hits a trap.
Sure.
A gate slam shut in front of them.
Should have done that with the camera.
No, so this is an obstacle. They can get out of this. And the wall starts closing in, turning this into a threat. Now they only have 3 rounds to escape this before they're crushed in it. The best way of not setting off a trap is by simply avoiding it. But the first thing we need to do is find the trap, or at least find the trigger for the trap. Now some games, this requires a specific skill to do. Maybe find traps, or maybe perception, but depending on the situation of the mechanics of the specific game that you're playing, other skills might work for this as well, such as if this is a well-populated dungeon, there's a lot of foot traffic back there. A tracking skill might be able to notice that everyone seems to avoid this one specific spot on the floor, or if the player characters research this dungeon beforehand, it might be able to tell them the specifics of the traps before they even enter the dungeon in the first place. However, detecting a trap's trigger doesn't necessarily tell the player character what the trap does. This is like in in Indiana Jones. He finds the trigger on the floor, but it's only after testing it out that he learns that the trigger starts at it. Now, some traps might be able to be disarmed, or if possible, it might just simply be able to avoid the trigger altogether, turning the trigger into an obstacle that we have to avoid. The key requirements for a trap is that it's know certain factors about it. So once the characters know about it and know where the trigger is, it's no longer a trap, but it's just simply an obstacle now. This is why in Heist, the player characters usually know of all the security traps before they walk in, meaning that the heist is about them overcoming the known obstacles in order to not set alarms on them. Or going back to everyone's favorite archaeologist, Indiana Jones, he could avoid all the traps until he got to the final one of the idol. That's only because he had to directly deal with this one because he wanted to get the idol for himself. Then he fails his disarm traps roll and sets it off, which then activates the threat of him being sealed inside this dungeon, forcing him to run out. Now, all those traps that he bypassed earlier are now obstacles that he has to avoid while fleeing, and now it's going to be a lot harder because he can't take his time. Things to consider with traps and obstacles is first consider their placement. If this dungeon is populated, why would there be a pit trap in the middle of a busy hallway? It's like laying a landmine in the middle of Main Street. It doesn't make sense. So maybe this dungeon, if it is populated, they all know not to take the trigger, in which case our heroes might notice that there's a trap there because of a tracking roll, because their ranger or somebody can see that. But maybe this trap has a release, like maybe it's not always armed. So consider if there's a disarm release for this trap and where that is. And the traps can answer this question, or at least provide enough answers for you. In the case of defenses, like the population is trying to keep invaders out of here, the release is going to be on their side of the trap, such as they all flee to some central location, they turn on the traps, they lift the drawbridge up, and they wait for the invaders to come and hit them. An example of this would be the movie Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. The wizard is a dragon that protects his lair, and this dragon is chained to the wall. However, at the far side of this dragon is a huge wheel that can tighten the chain down, pulling the dragon's head against the cave wall and allowing you to save. For other types of traps, the disarm switch might be on the player character's side of the trap, such as they discover a tunnel leading from the bad guy's lair and it's loaded with traps. But the bad guy, they sometimes need to use this tunnel themselves, so they know to rotate the candlestick to disarm all the traps before they go walking down it. So Game Masters, consider if any of the traps in your dungeon have a disarming mechanism, and where that disarming mechanism is. Either the player characters can search the walls and maybe find it, or in the case of that dragon, clearly see it on the far side of that obstacle. The first thing we need to do is get one of the player characters past that obstacle in order to reach the disarming mechanism, so they can do that and allow the rest of the party to follow them. Next, consider hinting about the trap's existence, foreshadow them. This might be done by finding a prior victim of a trap here, like we covered in a previous video, and something showing how deadly the traps are.
Oh, there's a carrot.
These traps do. Or we can have an NPC hit the first trap and let the player characters witness the effects firsthand. Maybe a friendly NPC companion, or maybe some low-level bad guy who's fleeing away from the player characters and they hit a trap, either because they didn't know a trap was there, or they're in their rush, they forgot about it, and hit this trap, and other player characters know, oh my god,
I slipped.
Those. Or we can do other things, such as slots along the walls. They can see those walls in the ceiling, but they don't exactly know what's going to be coming out of those or where the triggers are on the floor. Or maybe they notice that the stairs, they're going to some stairs and they realize that they're greased. And they realize that,
this gives
this
attack
looks
up?
like it might drop into a ramp, maybe go sliding down it. Or if it's the case of, let's say, a spiral staircase, maybe the stairs are greased, but along the outer wall there's a bunch of spikes that are sticking out. They might have tried.
Well, I guess I have more reason to.
Because turned into a ramp and slung them down and against these spikes. So the player characters go, oh my god, this thing's gonna be horrible. They don't know what the triggers are. And that really ratchets up the tension because the player characters know there is a trap. They know what it does, but what they don't know, where is it going to be safe to step? Now let's shift this over to hazards, which are kind of like pseudo traps. An example would be a rotting floorboard or a rotted bridge. At a glance, it looks perfectly safe to cross, but if the character puts their weight on it, it's going to break. Another might be a partially flooded dungeon with unseen hazards, such as sharp and rusting debris or deep pits unseen below the surface. The character might be strolling through deep water and then step into a 15-foot open pit and sink straight to the bottom or stab themselves on some jagged object that was concealed beneath the surface of this water. Or you might have foul or toxic air or radioactive deposits, some weird magnetic deposit that draws all the iron and steel towards the walls, and now the fighter is slammed up against the walls and has to peel off his armor to escape, or a thermal vent that blasts scalding steam down this passage every 15 minutes or so, or any number of natural phenomena. Now, these are like traps in the sense that the danger isn't immediately apparent with them. However, unlike traps, there's no intention to harm or deceive. It's just simply there. Modded floorboard is just a modded floorboard. Now, of course, various skills such as perceptions or different actions such as probing the floor or the 10-foot pole that can reveal this hazard is before them, and it now turns this hazard into an obstacle.
Tablets don't seem to be an option you can disable. I just realized. They spawn randomly just like everyone else, but there's no preset to disable them.
Anything that wasn't a monster encounter or a mechanical trap that was just called a trick. Now, it's never really clearly defined between the different conditions and rules changes that go into obscurity and not really know about it. So today, all I consider traps and obstacles, and those to be traps and obstacles, regardless if there's going to be magic involved or not, is still kind of a tricky, hard to define zone where tricks still exist. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to commandeer the term and use it for myself, but please keep in mind, these things are extremely hard to define. So for me, tricks are when magic, it's alien technology, doesn't fall into the category of a trap or an obstacle or a hazard. These are things that the player characters, and therefore the players, they just don't understand how to operate them. They're not a puzzle to solve, because otherwise it falls into the category of a puzzle, yet there's no intention by the trick's creator of this being a trap. So it doesn't have any intention, and it's not a puzzle. It's not trying to pretend to be something that it's not. It's just simply user error from somebody who doesn't understand what it is using. Such as an archway portal. You step through it and something happens to you. You're teleported somewhere else, maybe all your bones are replaced with rubber and you collapse to the floor, or you're now naked. Your character switches sexes. In old D&D adventures, these were usually treated like some sort of aha, gotcha gag, a definite trap, and something that antagonistic game jams love to use. Now, that's something that might work in a funhouse dungeon, but in a normal dungeon, I feel like things like this should serve a function, or at least have served a function to its builders. We just simply might not understand how it is that we're supposed to use that, or even if we can use it or not. For example, in the Call of Cthulhu scenario Bad Rising, the player characters discover an alien moon base filled with giant, ancient, comprehensively advanced technology, but they don't have to engage with any of this stuff. It's more like background set pieces. But if they decide to start twisting some dials and pushing buttons, weird things are going to start happening, such as one device that turns your skin permanently transparent. That's all it does, and it serves as more of a warning that going out of your way to play with things clearly outside your comprehension comes with some serious risk. Picture a squirrel. The squirrel crawls on top of a power transformer and starts chewing wires and gets electrocuted. This transformer wasn't designed to electrocute squirrels, it wasn't designed to hurt anybody. The problem is that the squirrel couldn't understand the advanced technology that it was playing with. Or if the player characters discover a Stargate, dial in 7 symbols at random and it turns on and they step through. Maybe it brings them to a lovely forest, or it dumps them into vacuum space. And some players might insist that being dumped into the vacuum of space was a trap, but it wasn't a trap. It was simply the player characters being a bunch of squirrels messing with something that they didn't understand. However, somewhere in this dungeon is a key or a clue on how to use this device. If there's a way to solve this, and that's hinted at, then this Stargate is not a trick, but it's a puzzle. It's only a trick if there's nothing to solve about it. The only way to use it is just by dialing random sequences of numbers and seeing where that takes you. There's not really
oh, what? Really?
to it outside of it just being
only
the
one
thing
level?
that's there, or like some sort of novelty that the player characters can interact with. And maybe if they take it home and they give it enough time and they've got enough backup characters, they can figure out some way to use this and they can have some sort of cool device. But outside of that, it's really just a novelty that they probably shouldn't have been messing with. Now, let's say is an altar to some god. Now, this thing is charged with power. Maybe it's good power, like it heals you when you touch it. Or maybe it's evil power and it burns you. Or a fountain. And someone of a certain alignment can drink from this fountain and it's going to heal them. All those not meeting the qualifications of poisons that returns them to stone or gold or something like that. Now, these fountains, they serve a function. They're not traps, but danger is simply our ignorance of what that function is. So while most magical or technological technological encounters in a dungeon are simply going to fall under traps, or puzzles, or obstacles, something that the player characters need to figure out how to avoid. Tricks fall into that category when it's neither of those things. The danger they pose is no more malicious or deceptive than an empty light socket or some curious PC jams their finger inside of it. But tricks shouldn't require any sort of player character engagement. They might simply just ignore the thing and leave be. The danger that a trick poses is only if the player characters are curious and they act on that curiosity. To me, tricks can be very interesting to use in your dungeon, but only if used very sparingly, like very sparingly. Otherwise, it's getting used to being kind of close to being an antagonistic game master that's just trying to trap their players into something, and I'd much rather have my magical devices be traps or puzzles or obstacles that the players can overcome, rather than just something that's simply there. Now, the big reason that I'm laying all these categories out and defining the way that I am is because many gamers lump them all together under the shorthand term traps, which can then be problematic when you have things like a find trap spell and it's going to be cast in your game. I've gotten into this debate a lot during different game reviews when I've mentioned how a find trap spell would work on puzzles, hazards, and tricks. So game masters, in order to prevent these sort of misconceptions at your table when a player is attempting to use magic or technology or some character special ability to detect traps, and you need to be able to consider what it is you define and call a trap, and what's something that you consider more of a puzzle or an obstacle or a hazard or a trick, but is definitely not a trap. Again, this completely depends on what system it is that you're using, so there's no universal answer that I could give that works across all games and all editions of every game. There are two big guidelines that I believe about dungeon traps. First, that they should make sense. Like with the dungeon, the traps inside of it need to follow the same logic. We already covered placement, but where they are should be logical, but the trap itself needs to reflect the technological and magical ability of those who created it. A high-tech research building is probably going to have high-tech traps. Primitive culture is probably going to be making some low-tech traps, such as falling rocks or swinging logs. And if we have a primitive culture that's taken up residence inside a former high-tech facility,
I'll go get
you can
that
have a
horse
mix of those
first.
two, such as in some places we're still going to have the still functioning high-tech traps of the original builders, but in other places we're going to have the primitive traps that are set up by the people that are currently living there. Furthermore, a game master should understand the basic of the trap mechanics to ensure that it's logical, like an 8-foot spear that's launching out of a wall that everybody can clearly tell is only 3 feet thick. You don't need to know all
The
the
weapons
ins
are
and outs of the
randomized.
trap, the weights, the gear rotations, or anything like that. Most traps are going to fail once you start looking a little bit too close at them. But the general
It only
broad
grazed
stroke
you,
concepts
Riarte. You're
behind
fine.
how this trap works the game master needs to know, such as you step on a trigger stone and a spiked ball comes swinging down from the ceiling.
Frick.
The game master should know, if there's going to be a spear or a spike that comes out, is it going to be coming out the left wall, the right wall, the ceiling, the floor? Is it going to come out of the wall in front of them or behind them? Maybe if it does, there's another player character or some other obstacle that's now in the way.
Only
and
one
the
choice.
trap hits that, or maybe the trap
We
hits
run as
multiple
fast as
player
we can.
characters, just depending on where it comes from in relation to the trigger. Or if the trigger is small, such as it's a small stone on the floor, maybe the first person that crosses that isn't going to set off the trap. Maybe we could do it off of a luck roll or something like that. So now that the first person steps over it, the second person steps over it, but the third person, they stepped on the trap and they're the one that gets hit by it. Or maybe they step on the trap and then that spear comes shooting at them from the front and it hits the person in the front. It's like in part 1 when I talked about giving the dungeon at least a small effort in appearing like it has structural integrity to it. And you should consider that. Just give it a little bit of effort. It goes a long way in selling this place as being believable. But there's also benefits to learning to how primitive technology works or could work. For example, if you check out the 1955 film Land of the Pharaohs, not a great movie, but it shows how sand was used to lower heavy stones like walls and ceilings. But aside from being able to explain how these tons of weight are being held up, it shows a game master how they can describe sand gushing from holes in the walls or from behind statues as stone doors lower into place. At the end of the movie, as we get to see the elaborate mechanism of how they sealed the pyramid, that part is definitely worth a watch. If a trap is reloadable, like we have a crossbow that's hidden in a wall, there should be some way to rearm this crossbow, like a narrow access hallway or some sort of hatch that somebody could open. And maybe the player characters, they could get to this hatch. Maybe they could hide inside of it, or maybe they could get some of the crossbow bolts that are hiding inside there with it. I've encountered a lot of game masters who feel that they don't need to come up with some sort of explanation of how a trap works. They just simply say magic, as if that explains away any logic holes that they have. And I find that to be just a really cheap excuse. For example, going back to Raiders of the Lost Ark with the light trap. That trap makes no damn sense. It's built by a primitive people, yet the trigger is by crossing a beam of light. How does this trap possibly work? Andy doesn't believe in magic, yet he instantly and casually figures out what this trap is, or that it's a trap in the first place. The logic of his world doesn't support this trap's existence. And if your trap doesn't follow logic, then that's going to pull your players out of the game. It's going to simply just turn them into relying on dice rolls and not critically thinking about your traps or your dungeon, because the Game Master clearly isn't critically thinking about it either. The second big tip that I can give with dungeon traps is that repetition can quickly become monotonous. Overusing the same thing gets boring, no matter how cool it was the first time that you used it. The secret to awesome dungeons is mixing it up between obstacles, threats, hazards, and traps, as well as the specifics of each type that you use. Diversify them. Have the traps in one dungeon be completely different than any of the dungeons that they've previously encountered. Don't necessarily have them always cause damage to the player characters. Mix it up. Have a trap goes off and it creates an obstacle or a threat. Then mix up what those obstacles and threats even are. How they can be overcome and what they do. That makes the game more exciting, more fun, because the players have not seen any of this before, even if they've seen the individual parts used in different ways. Every dungeon should have at least one trap or one feature or one obstacle that your players have never encountered before. I don't mean the characters have encountered before, I mean the players have never seen before. As far as where we can get our ideas, because that's a lot of ideas you're going to have to be using, there are tons of great places to steal from. Movies, video games, steal from other game masters. There's websites and books like Grimtooth's Ultimate Trap Collection. Steal from those and use the ideas that can make your dungeon fun, engaging, and memorable for your players. Now let's look at rewards. These aren't the objectives or the big treasure that they might find at the very end of the dungeon, but the rewards that they find along the way. These should be sprinkled about. Most often, this is going to be in the form of treasure. Money, gear, possessions, and other valuable loot like that, but it can also be in the form of clues. And I don't just mean the loot that the player characters pull off of defeated opponents. There is definitely that. That's going to be a factor, but I'm talking about rewards from the dungeon itself. Like the player characters, they might discover that hidden passage that allows them to bypass a particular obstacle. That's their reward. Or maybe they find a ring of keys somewhere that unlocks many of the locked doors inside this dungeon, and now they don't have to worry about picking the locks or smashing the doors open. Or maybe some long-dead corpse of some long-dead adventurer that crawled into a niche and died, and on them they're going to find a note with a hint about some sort of threat further up ahead, or maybe a partial map of this dungeon, either what this dungeon looks like or what it looked like before in a previous incarnation. And it shows that there used to be a passageway that bypassed this particular threat, but that's now sealed up with a wall. Maybe that passageway is still there. If they can knock down a part of the wall and they can get through that and bypass that threat, that's their reward for searching the wall and finding this little niche. Or they might find something that might not be valuable to them per se, but might be valuable to something or someone else inside this dungeon. Something that they can negotiate with, something that they can use to their advantage, even if it itself isn't that valuable to them. Rewards are your little treats that keep your players going, keeps them exploring. So I suggest putting your rewards in interesting places, such as like kudos for looking there. Encouraging them to do that more. Explore around, see what's around here. Maybe you'll find some more rewards. However, you also want to keep it logical as far as what they find. I hate it in video games whenever you find a ton of loot, but it seems to be completely random and nonsensical, and where it is and what it is doesn't make any sense at all. So whatever rewards that you do and where those rewards are found, that should make sense. Maybe not immediately make sense, but eventually it should make sense as to why these treasures are where they're found. Now, one map that I always found inspiring was this
Blue would be a
limestone
good
cave
color
in the
for
old ancient
Casey.
catacomb
Huh.
guide. And apart from imagining what monsters and traps I might put in here, was this specific ledge. What treasure could I put on there, and how might the player characters get to that ledge?
Bop.
Will they try to lower themselves
Bop, bop,
down from
bop,
up
bop,
above, or maybe you try to
Bop.
climb up at it from up below?
And you
Waterfall pounding
wasting my
against it.
durability
So
like
I looked
this.
at this map,
Ah!
I saw that ledge.
I keep
thought,
forgetting.
I'm going to put something
It's a
there,
thing.
either attempting
Eh.
to try to get to that ledge or rewarding them for exploring it. Finally, let's talk about objectives. What are the characters doing in this dungeon? Now, the most popular of these is the old going inside to defeat the bad guy or get the special treasure, and that's perfectly fine. I have used that a lot myself, and usually the goal is going to be found in the final room of the dungeon, and that is also perfectly fine to do. It forces the player characters to go through the whole dungeon in order to get to the final room. However, unless there is a reason why the bad guy is not going to leave this final room and go deal with these intruders that are causing all sorts of commotion, or might just simply leave the final room to go visit the kitchen and make themselves a sandwich, they probably just shouldn't be permanently waiting in this room for the player characters to show up and kill them, kind of like Bowser in Super Mario Brothers. Now, one common complaint with this style of dungeon plot is that the heroes, if they take a back entrance to get to this place, or they go straight to the bad guy and defeat them, it now leaves them no reason at all to explore
Might be
the
what
rest
I
of this
want,
dungeon.
but
They just
I
go
wanna
home and
see what
high-five
this
themselves. Now,
Black
that's
Horse
possible
has.
to do. Sinister Secret of Salt Marsh, one of my very favorite AD&D adventures. The player characters can explore the haunted house, eventually working their way down to the bad guy, or they might just find the Seed Cave entrance and go straight to him without even going inside the haunted house. So consider doing a scavenger hunt. These are where the player characters have to find multiple objective points at different parts of the dungeon. Maybe they have to gather multiple items to open up a portal to reach the bad guy, like Ghost Tower or Ingress, or they have multiple objectives inside the dungeon itself, such as rescue the prisoners who are at one location and then
nice.
recover
Alright,
the
I'll
treasure
go with
or
this
fight
guy
the bad
then.
guy at another location. This now means that the player characters are going to have to crisscross and explore this dungeon in order to find all these objective nodes. Another dungeon plot you can do is the prison escape. Now, this might open with the player characters, they've been captured and they wake up in their dungeon cells and they don't necessarily know how they got there. Or maybe they came to this dungeon to explore it, or with some sort of goal in mind. They walked inside, then they hit a trap in the first room and the floor dropped and they opened up to a slide and they landed inside these cells, and now the player characters are going to have to break out of these cells, find some equipment, and escape this place. Or maybe they're not prisoners, but they have to escape the dungeon because it's sealed behind them and now they can't get out of it. Maybe mix this up with a scavenger style with multiple steps involved in getting out of this place, such as they have to restore power to the main reactor, then they have to download the files from the laboratory's computer, then they have to engage the self-destruct, and then they can get to an escape pod. Another twist is the speed dungeon, where the threat pushes them to go through this dungeon as fast as possible. That was a huge hit with us when I did this. It was a dungeon that was deep beneath an island that was in the middle of a lake. So the player characters, they arrived at the dungeon and used one entrance. They quickly defeated the bad guy and got the important item that they came here for. However, the
stay
bad
here
guy's
until
magic was
tomorrow.
the only thing that was keeping this dungeon together, keeping the water out. So once they died, that part of the wall crumbled and water started rushing in and destroyed the way that the player characters got to the dungeon, so they couldn't use that. So now they had to escape this entire dungeon by going through new territory that they hadn't seen before, as water is rising every foot, like a foot every round or two. You're sealing off floors as they're racing to get to the top of this place, all the while fighting monsters and trying to score some of this treasure while the imminent threat of drowning is constantly chasing them. There's also heists, where the objective is trying to get inside and recover some item or rescue some prisoner without alerting the bad guys. I have a whole video I've done dedicated to those if you want to see how I do heist adventures. Then there's the test. These are usually funhouse-style dungeons where the builders have made an elaborate course for testing the heroes out. Maybe it's a wealthy noble seeking to have a worthy champion, but the champion must first pass this test of heroes. Or maybe it's for some twisted amusement from the creators, like the VIPs in Squid Game. Now that's the plot for White Plume Mountain, which has the title for being mentioned most in this series. Maybe this test is arranged by a guild or an organization that the player characters might want to join or might want to advance up in the ranks for, so now they have to run this gauntlet, this test, to prove that they're worthy. So you can make it a themed one, where it's like a thieves guild. They might have a thieves run, where you have to do different thieves skills, or a magic one testing a spellcaster's abilities, or a warrior battling their way through some sort of course to prove that they're worthy to advance in the ranks or gain membership in this organization. Another Funhouse-style dungeon I've employed and was a huge hit with this was shifting dungeons. This is where the layout changes shape during the course of the adventure, like that temple in Alien vs. Predator. The one that I used had 4 configurations. Whenever the player characters reached one of the objective nodes, the dungeon would reconfigure itself, like grinding a stone as walls slid into place and everything changed shape. So once they emerged from that room, they found themselves inside an entirely different dungeon. With new rooms that opened up. Some of them were the same where they were, but they had changed shape. Maybe they're bigger or smaller, but they could still recognize pieces of it, such as that wall that they had scorched earlier with the fireball. They can recognize that wall, but that wall is now in a room, and before it was in a hallway. It's kind of like they could recognize the Lego pieces that the dungeon was built from, but they couldn't recognize this specific configuration that was done with those Lego pieces. Then, of course, Unsafe Passage, where the heroes aren't trying to get any item out of the dungeon, but merely using this dungeon to get through it to the other side, kind of like the Mines of Moria, where they're bypassing the mountains. Another old favorite AD&D adventure of mine is All That Glitters, where the dungeon is then going through this enormous magic subway-type tunnel built by an ancient forgotten people trying to get to the opposite side of this place where the second half of the main adventure takes place 1,000 miles away. There are countless other types of dungeon plots, more than I could ever list or think of, so look in the comments below. I am sure there's going to be a well of cool ideas of different ways you can use dungeons in your games. Okay, well that is it for the dungeon design series, or at least my philosophy and approach to dungeon design. There are a lot of different philosophies out there and approaches, so after a little bit of trial and error, every game master is going to develop their own. So hopefully this was helpful in some ways that you might want to do or might not want to do if you don't agree with this. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. All the adventure modules that I talked about in this adventure do have dedicated review videos, so if you want to see any more of those or any more of my stuff, just hit that subscribe button. Next time, gamers, you have a great day. Never fear, the star of the show is here. Let's get recorded on this. What the hell? Is he done recording already? Hey Todd. Yeah? What the hell, man? You were supposed to call me before he started recording. He's already done. I told him to give me a call before he started Oh, wait. 12 missed messages? Oh, sorry, dude. I had it on silent. Oh, well, that is just freaking great. I'm out of sick days, man. What am I supposed to do now? Oh, well, since you're here, you want to play a game? Might as well. Scoot over. 3, 2, 1. It's encouraging. Shall Be Satisfied is here. Welcome. Lapis is here. Ronkley, all the friends are here. All of you, man, welcome. Thanks for drop Miles the Great and Weller Mansion. Kingsman. Colin is here. And we are underway with Tetris. 70,000 here for Pixelandy, 71,000 for Gerald. Set up column 8. These years are Jordan Vicious Farm, Art, Island, Chang. All the regulars are here. Like Tetris is here. Shall Be Satisfied just contributed $1,000. 1,000 American US dollars.
Oh.
To the Matcherino prize pool.
Thank you so much. Shall be satisfied. Amazing.
That's 3 whites.
Wow. I mean, I was about to say it's incredible, and then I was like, I don't want to say it's incredible because it's credible, but it really is incredible. Like, I don't believe the support that we've had. Folks like Shall Be Satisfied. So thank you so much, Shall Be Satisfied. What an amazing thing that you've done month in, month out. Gerald declining to do the Vits. Wrong, you know, the bad Vits. One where there's no incoming long bar. He's like, I could do it. He's like, I'm not gonna do it. I refuse. 272 here for Gerald, 331 for Andy. Yeah, alright, I find incredible. I mean, it's hard to believe, but ultimately I do believe. Thank you so very much. That puts our prize pool up at $1,601.47. You know, if we get to 2,000,
It's so strange how this is just a free shrine.
the top 8 instead of the top 4, so doubling the joy here. Doing this on a strictly utilitarian curve here. We're just, you know, increasing utility.
Hmm. Not good.
Double the number of people. 450 from Andy, 389 for Gerald. Monthly Tetris with the raid party of 4. Wow, monthly Tetris, thank you so much. Holy mackerel, what a raid. That monthly Tetris channel 2, monthly Tetris 2, really thriving over there with those 4 viewers. 519 here for Andy, 416 for Gerald.
Oh crap, I didn't go to the
Press 1 in
shrine
chat if you're an act
for
utilitarian,
Rito.
or 2 in chat if you're a rule utilitarian, or 3 in chat if you're not a utilitarian.
Oops.
Alright, 486 here for Gerald, 566
Oh, well.
for Andy.
I have another destination in mind I want to visit. Did I seriously never get the shrine here as well? Wow. How clumsy am I?
Gerald with a very awkward board right here, just 8 lines till 19 transition. $623 here for Andy on 19.
I want to go to the Kala regions. Get Robbie.
I'm pressing.
Will be most useful.
Andy with the 150,000 point Tetris for Gerald, 555. You're at level 20. Andy about 12 lines in the future. Yeah, I'm curious what's gonna happen with Andy with the pushdown. I think he's only doing it with laser fast. Usually, yeah. Alright, Gerald trying to close the gap there. Will be creating a gap though.
Got the devil on your shoulder, shoulder. You better treat your mouth like a soldier. You get controlling me through friction. It's obvious. I've got to break you like a bad addiction. Oh, I can't say no. I'm losing control. I'm having bad dreams, and nothing you can do keeps the bad things away from me until I fall asleep. Bad dreams, despite your good intentions. The girl is like
Not
an
too long because Andy is back.
architect, and I am just a new invention. I don't know why I suddenly felt like saying that.
1601.47. Thank you so much.
I am just a new invention. Oh yeah, bomb barrels.
Tetris Andy 934, Gerald at 779. It's a Tetris for
Not to
Gerald.
mention their quick draw.
Andy one away from the max out, and there is the Tetris for the max out on 27 for Andy. For Tetris,
I
Andy,
really
Gerald.
don't like the bow's
There's
draw
something
speed
to that
nerf.
too wide gap there. Just gonna have to figure something else out. Just take it down bit by bit.
It is a really heavy nerf.
First piece right there, but
It just
Figuring
makes
it
bows
out.
unfun. Okay, at least they can
Tetris for
attack
Andy. He's up
styles
back up
now.
over 200,000 points in the lead, and again, he's like 14, 15 lines in the future. It's not as bad, but still, it is a real lead. Gerald the Tetris, Andy into 29, the 1.1. Tucking on level 29 is just insane. Andy going for the Tetris, needs a long bar here for the Tetris. And just gonna have to bring that down just in time for the long bar to come. Set up again, so ducking into and out of these Tetris opportunities. Don't want to overcommit. Andy having to pull this down. Again. A little bit droughted, set up again. Look at that, he just gets it set up so efficiently. C19 here for Andy, that's a 1.2. Gerald flinging pieces left and right, level 31. Worry about gaps on the left side like column 1. So hard to deal with. Level 29. It's getting pieces over. Oh, my word. Gerald gonna. Oh no, and he misdrops. As he gets the long bar in though. And, oh no, and he doesn't get the bar into column 3. He was so close. He's like misdrop, fix it. Misdrop, fix it. Misdrop, you know what I mean? Like amazing. But anyway, Andy is good. He's gonna top out here and get game number 1. That was 3-1 Tetris. Semi-finals where these players are gunning for. Matt Gowie out in the hallway. Board with their initial Tetrises. Same piece sets, different stacks. Gerald,
I don't feel like solving this
little bit of a
puzzle.
situation here. Looks like you'll be able to get this all uncovered back to clean for now, but what is this drought? Your cursed Tetris Gym Seed. What are you gonna get? What is this? Finally, there, Gerald will get a Tetris 57,000. First RNG.
Hello.
Colin with the $2.48 contribution. Thank you, Colin. That brings us up to 160420. Very good. Now we just need a $9 contribution. There you go. Very mature. Very mature. 153 Andy, 156. 176 Andy, 178 for Gerald. Tetris, Andy, 201. We got more Tetris today. 3 o'clock, that's in less than an hour and a half from now. CTM Futures Bracket Green. Futures Circuit, I should say Futures Bracket. Futures Circuit Green Brackets. Then at 7 o'clock Central Time, Chicken Sandwich Time, the conclusion of the CTM National DAS Championship. Matt Martin, Sharky, Huffaluffagus, and AB Geek. Oh no, another double flip for Andy. Able to take care of it. Oh my word, that was scary. That's all coming up in about 5.5 hours. What am I doing? Don't I get a weekend? Why does everybody get a weekend with me? Alright, Gerald with the Tetris. He's in the lead, 327. Tetris for Andy. That NAS Championship was started in July. Lone Star Qualifier. I think we're doing that qualifier again, or we just do it as a standalone event. I don't think they're calling them qualifiers anymore. I don't really follow all that. But just do it as a standalone event. Alright, Tetris for Gerald, 421, 378 for Andy. Oh, Gerald kind of with his drop there, and we clean up after that, so all kinds of cheesy holes in the stack. Oh, there we go, adjustment for Andy to make room for the long bar, and there we go, Tetris for Andy, 426, Gerald, 427. Gerald back to clean.
This number will do for now.
Tetris for Gerald,
Now let's run.
496. What, 519, Andy up fairly high on the board. There you go, holding up the long bar, gets it into 19. Oh no, like another double flip for Andy on that left side. It's always on that left side.
I'm as fast as a Lizalfo when I'm sprinting. Jeez.
He's going to uncover very timely
Look
long
at me
bar
go.
for Andy to bring this back down. Gerald into 19 at like 546. There's another Tetris 595. So Gerald with a good lead. There we go. Andy with the key tuck, as Kingsman likes to call it, and the Tetris. Tetris ready, 617. Behind in lines by about 13. I mean, ahead in lines, Andy. By about 13. 7 to 13, I guess, at any
No.
time. Tetris for Andy. Oh, and another non-flip, I think, over on that left side. Oh, the double tuck of the T for Andy. That still is crazy to me that is possible. And Gerald fighting here. Alright, flinging pieces to the left. He's got a whole bunch of pieces piled in column 1 and a big channel down in column 2. Oh my word. Oh no, and this drop for Gerald on the left side. Huge down stack here for Gerald and Andy, really.
Wow, I've been recording for quite a while. I'm gonna start another one.